Led myself on a wrong goose chase. Genesis 25 and Matthew 25. This is a daily reading. I read from the Institute for Scripture Research, the ISR, because it takes a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Greek to English, and Aramaic to English. Yah is the Elohim of the heavens and the earth, the first and the last and the only, and he's an extremely jealous El. He's so jealous that he doesn't even want the names of idols or mighty ones to come to our lips. And Yah is short for YahWeh, YahWeh, Yod-He, Vav-He. It's like saying Dan, Daniel, Daniel with an E. Excuse me. What is different and does matter is when people say that Phil, Bob, Sam, and Aaron are the same name when no, they're not, and no one in their right mind would ever believe that, and only a fool would believe that a hammer can force its creator to do anything. And there was no letter J in the Hebrew, Greek, or Aramaic text because the letter J is about 600 years old, while the son of Elohim, Yahoshua, the Messiah, sweat blood and was brutally murdered on a stake and resurrected for the sins of all of humanity over 2,000 years ago, on the third day, over 2,000 years ago. And a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Yeshua, which is short for Yahoshua, is Joshua, and the son of Elohim's name, Yahshua, means Yah is salvation. Yah will save his people from their sins. Jesus is Greek for Hail Zeus, and Christ is the Greek idol Christos. That is all written down in the description anyways. You're welcome to go and research it for yourself. If you don't research for yourself, you are a fool. Just going to say that right now. If you don't research for yourself and you just believe what everyone else says, you are a fool. Alright. Genesis 25. And Abraham took another wife whose name was Keturah. Abraham is A-B with a line underneath of it, R-A-H-A-M, and Keturah is Q-E-T-U-R-A-H. Now, Abraham took another wife. Just know that his first wife is dead. He does not have another wife. His first wife is dead. So he got another wife. So technically he only has one wife. And always only had one wife. And she bore him Zimran, Z-I-M-R-A-N, and Yokshan, Y-O-Q-S-H-A-N, and Medan, M-E-D with a line underneath of it, A-N, and Midian, M-I-D with a line underneath of it, Y-A-N, and Yishbak, Y-I-S-H-B-A-Q, and Shua, S-H-U-W-A-H with a dot. And Yokshan brought forth Sheba, S-H-E-B with a line underneath of it, A, and Dedan, D-E-D with a line underneath of it, A-N, and the sons of Dedan were Asherim, A-S-S-H-U-R-I-M, and Letushim, L-E-T-U-S-H-I-M, and Leuman, L-E-U-M-M-I-M, and the sons of Midian were Kêpha, E with a half a check mark, P-H-A-H, and Epher, E with a half a check mark, P-H-E-R, and Hanok, H with a dot, A-N-O-K with a line underneath of it, and Abida, A-B with a line underneath of it, I-D with a line underneath of it, A, and Elda, E-L-D-A apostrophe A-H. All these were the children of Keturah. Now Abraham gave all that he had to Yitzhak, Y-I-T-S-H with a dot A-Q, but to the sons of the concubines whom Abraham had. Okay, yeah, so he had many women. By the way, these concubines are whores. Do not have whores. What he did was wrong and a sin. Do not have other wives. Abraham gave gifts while he was still living and sent them away from his son Yitzhak eastward to the land of the east, and these are all the years of Abraham's life, which he lived 175 years. And Abraham breathed his last and died in a good old age, aged and satisfied, and was gathered to his people. It says good old age, and then there's a comment that says aged and satisfied, so I didn't mess up, but sometimes it literally does sound like it, and a lot of times I do mess up. And his sons Yitzhak and Yishmael, Y-I-S-H-M-A apostrophe E with a half a check mark L, buried him in the cave of Machpelah, M-A-K with a line underneath of it, P-E with a half a check mark, L-A-H, which is before Mamre, M-A-M-R-E with a half a check mark, in the field of Ephron, E-P-H-R-O-N, son of Sohar, T-S-O-H with a dot A-R, the Hittite, H with a dot I-T-T-I-T-E, in the field which Abraham purchased from the sons of Heth, H with a dot E with a half a check mark, T-H. Therefore Abraham was buried with Sarah, S-A-R-A-H, his wife, his first wife. And it came to be after the death of Abraham that Elohim blessed his son Yitzhak, and Yitzhak dwelt in Beer Lahai Roi. Beer is B-E apostrophe E with a half a check mark. R Lahai is L-A-H with a dot A-I, and Roy is R-O apostrophe I. And this is the genealogy of Yishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar, H-A-G with a line on top of it, A-R the Mitzrite, M-I-T-S-R-I-T-E, so the Egyptian, Sarah's female servant, bore to Abraham, which, by the way, Abraham married Hagar when he had sex with her. That is marriage in the eyes of YahWeh. And these were the names of the sons of Yishmael by their names according to their generations. The firstborn of Yishmael, Nebaioth, N-E-B with a line underneath of it, A-Y-O-T-H. Then Quadar, Q-E with a half a check mark, D with a line underneath of it, A-R. And Abdil, A-B with a line, or A-D with a line underneath of it, B-E apostrophe E with a half a check mark, L. And Mibsam, M-I-B with a line underneath of it, S-A-M. And Mishma, M-I-S-H-M-A, and Duma, D-U-M-A-H, and Massa, M-A-S-S-A, and Hadar, H with a dot, A-D with a line underneath of it, A-R, and Tema, Tema, T-E, with a half a check mark, M-A, Yetur, Y-E-T-U-R, Naphish, N-A-P-H-I-S-H, and Quadima, Q-E with a half a check mark, D with a line underneath of it, E-M-A-H. These were the sons of Yishmael, and these were their names by their towns and their settlements, 12 chiefs according to their tribes. And these were the years of the life of Yishmael, 137 years, and he breathed his last and died, and was gathered to his people, and they dwelt from Hawilah, H with a dot, A-W-I-L-A-H, as far as Shur, S-H-U-R, which is east of Mitzrayim, Egypt, M-I-T-S-R-A-Y-I-M, as you go toward Ashur, A-S-H-S-H-U-R. He settled before all his brothers. And this is the genealogy of Yitzhak, Abraham's son. Abraham brought forth Yitzhak, and Yitzhak was 40 years old when he took Ribkah, R-I-B with a line underneath of it, Q-A-H, as wife. 40 years old, he took a wife. The daughter of Bethuel, B-E-T-H-U apostrophe E with a half a check mark, L, the Aramean, A-R-A-M-E-A-N, the Padan of Padan Aram, P-A-D-D-A-N, and then Aram is A-R-A-M, the sister of Laban, L-A-B with a line underneath of it, A-N, the Aramean. And Yitzhak prayed to YahWeh for his wife because she was barren, and YahWeh answered his prayer, and Ribkah his wife conceived. Now that's all they had to do. They did not have to get other wives. They could have just had faith in YahWeh in the first place and just prayed to YahWeh. And if YahWeh wanted them to have children, then they would have children. You don't need to go out of your way to get a bunch of wives to marry to have children. You could just have faith in YahWeh, which what even Abraham didn't have that strength when he first started out, because Sarah managed to convince him to marry her servant. And within her the children struggled together, and she said, "If all is right, why am I this way?" So she went to ask YahWeh, and YahWeh said to her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples shall be separated from your body, and one people shall be stronger than the other, and the other serve the younger. And when the days were filled for her to give birth, and see, twins were in her womb, And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, so they called his name Esau, E with a half a check mark, S-A-W. And afterward his brother came out with his hand holding on to Esau's heel, so his name was called Jacob, Y-A-apostrophe-A-Q-O-B with a line underneath of it, which is James. And Yitzhak was 60 years old when she bore them. And the boys grew up, and Esau became a man knowing how to hunt, a man of the field, while Jacob was a complete man dwelling in tents. And Yitzhak loved Esau because he ate of his wild game. But Ribkah loved Jacob, and Jacob cooked a stew, and Esau came in from the field, and he was weary. And Esau said to Jacob, "Please feed me with that same red stew, for I am weary." That is why his name was called Edom, E D with a line underneath of it, E D with a line underneath of it, O-M. Come on, Cody, get this English out. That is why his name was called Edom. But Jacob said, "Sell me your birthright today." And Esau said, "Look, I am going to die, so why should I have birthright?" Then Jacob said, "Swear to me today." And he swore to him and sold his birthright to Jacob. Jacob then gave Esau bread and stew of lentils. And he ate and drank and rose up and left. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Not to mention, Esau gets really upset when he actually doesn't get his birthright because it's sold, because he sold it. The younger should not have had to go through the process of covering himself up and making him look like Esau. And Esau should have been a man and been like, "Yeah, I gave up my birthright for some stew. I don't know what you want to hear from me." Like, grow up, Esau. And then when they met afterwards, like years later, Esau literally was like, "I love you." Like that. I don't know why you were like, childish behaviors. Love me. I love you. Matthew 25. Then the reign of the heavens shall be compared to 10 maidens who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. And five of them were wise and 5 foolish. Those who were foolish, having taken their lamps, took no oil with them, but the wise took oil in their containers with their lamps. Now while the bridegroom took time, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight a cry was heard, "See, the bridegroom is coming, go out to meet him." Then all those maidens rose up and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said to the wise, "Give us your oil, because our lamps are going out." But the wise answered, saying, "No, indeed, there would not be enough for us and you. Instead, go to those who sell and buy for yourselves." And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the wedding feast, and the door was shut. And later the other maidens also came, saying, "Master, Master, open up for us." But he answering said, "Truly I say to you, I do not know you. Watch therefore, because you do not know the day nor the hour in which the Son of Adam, A-D with a line underneath of it, A-M, is coming. For it is like a man going from home who called his own servants and delivered his possessions to them. And to one he gave 5 talents, and to another 2, and to another 1, to each according to his own ability, and went from home. And he who had received the 5 talents went and worked with them, and made another 5 talents. In the same way he with the 2 also, he gained 2 more. But he who had received the 1 went away and dug in the ground and hid the silver of his master. And after a long time the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. I just want to point out, those who hear the word and do not care to follow it are the 1 talent. Believers who claim that words have been done away with are the 1 talent. People who believe that names don't matter are the 1 talent. And he who had received 5 talents came and brought 5 other talents, saying, "Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. See, I have gained 5 more talents besides them." And his master said to him, "Well done, good and trustworthy servant. You were trustworthy over a little. I shall set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master." Then he Then he who had received 2 talents came and said, Master, you delivered to me 2 talents. See, I have gained 2 more talents besides them. His master said to him, Well done, good and trustworthy servant. You were trustworthy over a little. I shall set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. And the one who had received the 1 talent also came and said, Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you have not sown, and gathering where you have not scattered seed. And being afraid, I went and hid your talent in the ground. See, you have what is yours. And his master answering said to him, You wicked and lazy servant, you knew that I reap where I have not sown, and gather where I have not scattered seed. Then you should have put my silver with the bankers, and at my coming I would have received back my own with interest. Therefore take away the talent from him, and give to him who possesses 10 talents. For to everyone who possesses more shall be given, and he shall have overflowingly. But from him who does not possess, even what he possesses shall be taken away. And throw the worthless servant out into the outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And when the Son of Adam comes in his esteem, and all the set-apart messengers with him, then he shall sit on the throne of his esteem, and all the nations shall be gathered before him, and he shall separate them from one another, as a shepherd separates his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then the sovereign shall say to those on his right hand, Come, you blessed of my Father, inherit the reign prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then the righteous shall answer him, saying, Master, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and gave you to drink? And when did we see you a stranger and took you in, or naked and clothed you? And when did we see you sick or in prison and came to you? And the sovereign, YahWeh, the sovereign, shall answer and say to them, Truly I say to you, in so far as you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers, you did it to me. He shall then also say to those on the left hand, Go away from me, accursed ones, into the everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his messengers. For I was hungry, and you gave me no food. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you did not take me in. Was naked, and you did not clothe me. Sick and in prison, and you did not visit me. Then they also shall answer him, saying, Master, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison and did not serve you? Then he shall answer them, saying, Truly I say to you, in so far as you did not do to one of the least of these, you did not do it to me. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into everlasting life. HalleluYah.